Hi everybody, Crypto Strang here. Very honoured to have Joel here from Centric. Thanks very much, Joel, for coming on. We spoke about your project quite a few times, done a couple of videos about your project, so it's absolutely fantastic you've come on. Really appreciate that. I know many of the community does as well. I've seen the tweets and everything.
Excellent.
Went mad. So thanks very much, Joel. So obviously we're following your project for quite a while now. So if you'd like to give us a general overview about this year, future progression and what's happening over the next sort of 12 months, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And as you know, we've got a lot of questions from the community.
For sure. Definitely, Richard. And thank you so much for having me on. Glad to be here. And so Centric is very excited. In about 3 days, actually just a few days, we're actually getting ready to migrate to a new chain. So it's very exciting. We're moving from the Tron blockchain, where we've been developing since early last year, to the Binance Smart Chain. So that's very exciting.
That's all going ahead. Everything's fine, is it? What made you choose Binance Smart Chain? Was it just, I know it's got good development technology, but there's obviously a lot.
Right. Yeah, it's got a great identity in the market, and it's set up really well for us to integrate with. Yeah. And just I think there's probably 3 type items that I would hit. As one is that it's as fast as we need. It's less expensive than we're currently paying for fees, so that's going to be good for the users. And then there are just lots of opportunities for partnerships. So actually, right on the move, when we decided we were going to move to the BSC, we actually set up our first relationship, and we weren't even on the chain yet. So that's exciting. Yeah.
So many projects now are launching on Binance Smart Chain. A lot of people are going away from Ethereum. Does seem to be Binance Smart Chain, Polkadot, and Cardano now are the free that people are
very competitive. Yeah, very competitive. So yeah, but BSC, it seemed like a good fit for us as we continue growing and develop into the future. So we're really excited about it.
Oh, that's great. So I would say got a lot of questions. So
no worries.
So a lot of people ask a lot of stuff. The one thing was about the exchanges. Obviously, you want some really good ones like Bittrex, Huobi. Talk about Binance Smart Chain. Can you ever see yourselves getting on Binance? Or one of the other
that's a great question. One of the things that we try not to do is speculate about the future exchanges we'll be on. That's kind of for the exchanges to promote. Once we have a relationship with them, they will promote it, then we'll start promoting it. But our intention is to be on all major tier 1 exchanges in the future. And being on BSC sets up really well for integration for new exchanges. So be on the lookout for more exchange listings. But I would say that the number one thing I want to plug on the exchange listings is we started a relationship with Changely in the spring, and Changely offers a credit card on-ramp to Centric. And so that's really exciting, because once we go live on BSC, sometime after that, Changely will light up, and then people will be able to buy CNS with a credit card. So that's really big.
Oh, that's good. Over here, I can buy it on likes of Bittrex, very easy.
Right. So I think this will lower the barrier to entry for people that maybe are new to crypto and aren't used to purchasing crypto with other crypto, like those of us that have been in the space for a period of time. So I think that's going to make it easier for new users and people new to the crypto space.
Again, it opens up to more people. But we've had
exactly, more the merrier.
We've had a lot of issues here in the UK with banks sort of stopping people buying cryptocurrency. I think it's the way the banks are trying to react to this.
I think so. And the thing is, it's perfectly legal in the UK. It's perfectly legal in the US, where I am. I mean, there's a small list of countries where crypto isn't legal. Yeah. But I think as adoption in the space just gains more traction and more people find out how easy it is to use it, I think people are going to choose it.
No, that's great. No, that's good to hear. So because you're going to exchanges. So also what I've sort of noticed, obviously, since I got my CNS and I transferred it to the Centric wallet, was the high yield rewards. If I sort of use my CNR and getting a lot of CNS.
Right.
Can that continue at that sort of yield rate? Because it's it's been great for me, obviously, but I'm thinking, can you keep it at that rate, or is that sort of going to go down over time?
Right. Yeah, no, excellent. Great. Yeah, that's a great question. And the wonderful thing about the Centric protocol is that the price blocks for CNR get written a year in advance. So we already know what the July 2022 price blocks are for Centric Rise or CNR. And it's double digits all the way through July of next year. I mean, it drops down to 13%, but 13% in a month is still really attractive to most people. I think over this year, if you just sit in CNR, your CNS holdings are going up 433% or something like that. It's just it's incredible. So even with the price of CNS still having volatility in that regard, you're still going to end up with more CNS value every single hour. And so the long-term play is that as our Centric economists are doing the calculations to develop the price blocks for Centric, they're looking at a variety of factors, including the market, where Centric is headed, and things of that nature. And then they develop the calculation for the price blocks. But once those price blocks are calculated, they're burned into the chain, they're hard quoted into the chain, and they can't be edited. So moving forward, we're always going to have some level of growth with CNR, and we're still in the adoption phase. So this is great for people like you and me and those of us that are already buying into Centric, because we're getting some amazing returns.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, amazing growth. At some point in the future, we'll move into that sustainability phase for Centric, and that's when CNS is trading at or near $1. And once CNS is way up there at $1 and stabilized there, we'll be at what we call protocol consensus. And at that point, we'll be moving into the sustainability phase. And so even though there will still be growth in CNR, it's going to eventually level off at 3 to 4% annum. Yeah. So, but it'll still be a stability point in the space, which is pretty amazing, because you have your traditional stables and they don't go anywhere. No. And then you have every other cryptocurrency that's very volatile. And so the future of Centric is interesting, because it's got the predictability piece, and it's also got the stability piece long term.
That's incredible. Yeah, if it ever got to $1, well, I could certainly.
Yeah, someday it's out there in the future. It's designed to do that. So I always say I can't predict what the markets are going to do from one day to the next. No. But we know eventually CNS is designed to go to $1, and then once it does, we'll start into that next phase of Centric. So,
wow,
very excited.
To be honest here. So when it comes to CNS and CNR about the token burns, that's something else a lot of people wanted some clarification, because at the moment, is it majority of the CNS is out there, isn't it? On the exchanges, etc. Actual percentage wise of CNS,
the circulating supply.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's really two burns at Centric. I always call it the little burn and the big burn. The little burn is when we convert our CNS tokens to CNR. Yeah. So CNR tokens are released from quarantine, and the equal value or the equivalent value in CNS tokens are burned away. So that's the little burn when we convert. The big burn is what's happening every single hour. And so every single hour, a certain percentage of CNR is burning off to keep the protocol stable, because it's a self-regulating protocol. So there's a certain amount of CNR, total max supply, that has to come down as CNS is growing inside those CNR tokens. Okay. So to keep the protocol stable, a certain amount of CNR is burned away. And that's what we call the big burn. So every single day we have about 200,000 CNR that are burning away.
Wow.
So we started out with a billion max supply. It's a deflationary supply, so it's going down. We're down around 915 million, something like that. I didn't check the key metrics before hopping on, but people can go there. Yeah, centric.com/metrics. You can see the price blocks, and you can see the current prices of the tokens.
Okay, I can put that. No, that's interesting. I didn't know. Okay, I'll put that link below. That'll be interesting for many people, because many people want to see about the supply and obviously that affect the price.
Right. It's interesting. Like, we just hit $100 per CNR token. I think it was earlier today. So, the way I always explain it to people is, because a lot of people are like, well, CNS is trading sub penny right now. I say, well, you're right, it is. So the way I like to look at it is it's like a 1-to-1 ratio. So if we have CNS designed at $1, it's like one CNS to one of each of the CNR dollars. So if CNR is at $100, that's like 100 CNS.
Yeah.
That's the way we think about it. But just by holding it, I had a gentleman who decided to hold CNS for a month instead of converting, and he had several million CNS he was holding, and he missed out on growth of 4 to 5 million CNS. I'm like, well, you can hold in either. It's fine. It's not mandatory for you to hold CNR, but if your intention is to hold, and you're a Centric investor, you should hold CNR because you're missing out on those hourly yields of CNS.
That's what I've done. I've actually done a dedicated video for people like buying on, I think I've done it from Bittrex to the Centric wallet, transferring it to CNR. Actually, the step-by-step video for that. So
excellent. Yeah.
I'll put the link below so people can do it. It makes it
cool. Excellent. Yeah, I actually do a webinar every single Wednesday. So every Wednesday I do it for new users and people interested in learning about Centric, and I do the same thing every single Wednesday.
I didn't know that. Okay, so
step by step.
Okay, that's interesting because some people have said about sort of you can do some more AMAs and sort of more.
We will. My COO Tommy Butcher and I, he's great. I'm really glad he joined our team. We did an AMA last week, and we'll do more AMAs as it makes sense. As we have more things to roll out, we'll do both updates as well as AMAs. We won't keep things a secret when we have news to share. We'll get it out there.
That's good. Again, a lot of people sort of talking about the roadmap. Obviously, the roadmap's very extensive, upcoming stuff coming up, which is very exciting about the Centric business, wasn't there? There's a lot of parts to it. And is there going to be an upgraded about the blockchain, the concept as well? Is there going to be an updated roadmap soon?
Correct. Our team is working on that, and there's going to be a written version as well as a video version of the roadmap. So, I like to think about this as like roadmap 2.0. So just like we're going to be doing future white papers for Centric, there'll be white paper 2.0 and 3.0 and so on. We're doing the same thing with the roadmap. So our roadmap on the website is the pre-existing roadmap, and as we get that rolled out, we'll definitely make some noise about it. So the roadmap 2.0 will be laid out in the website, but there'll also be a video version of it.
Okay, that's good.
So we don't have a timetable for that, but hopefully sometime later this year we'll have all that dialed in.
Because there's some parts that look really exciting, certainly for the future, like Centric Venture, for instance, was really stuck out to me. That was
right.
That's just absolute mass adoption, getting people on blockchain and crypto itself. So is that something you're really pursuing? Is that something we can see possibly late this year?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm very passionate about the roadmap. Obviously, Centric isn't just a currency; we're also a payment network, and so that's our primary function is integration of payments. And so, www.centric.com/SendPay. You can find out a little bit more about that. It's pretty amazing. I know somebody asked about NFTs as we were coming on, and NFTs have been used for a variety of things. At Centric, we're going to be using them as like a business tool. Yeah. So, whether it's like ticketing for concerts or warranties and things of that nature, have it all wrapped up in an NFT. I think that'll be really streamlined, not just for the users, but for the businesses.
Yeah, I saw that the SendPay part about the NFT. Obviously, that is absolutely gone parabolic in the last sort of 6 months. NFTs, when it first came out, I was quite skeptical. I couldn't see the of NFTs. I was a bit naive, a little late last year because crypto kitties. So I thought, why do people?
Right. A couple of years ago.
But now, obviously, it is becoming mainstream, huge. All the big corporations now get involved. It is something. So the fact you're getting involved, that's really good news. Can you see yourself developing perhaps a marketplace or where NFTs, or are you just literally just sticking with SendPay?
Perhaps. Yeah, perhaps. I mean, obviously, another reason for us moving to Binance Smart Chain is because of the DeFi climate on the chain. So, I mean, there are a lot of people that are developing NFTs there. Most of what we're doing now is for business, but there are a lot of DeFi projects that we're going to be integrating with and making relationships with because we think that's the future of finance. Future of finance is DeFi. The future of finance, there's always going to be a need for both the e-com side as well as the brick and mortar side because some people just prefer to meet in person when it comes to their money. And so we want to be able to handle both sides of that.
Wow. So you've certainly got a lot of development. Jesus. That is a lot of work, isn't it? That is a lot. So that was another thing people talk about was partnerships. Obviously, that's very important. Building bridges with other crypto projects. Are you just sort of, would you entertain it, work with another cryptocurrency project, or we just solely focused on Centric, get involved with other ones, I suppose can be quite complicated?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it depends. Like I referenced the project on BSC that we started a relationship with before we were even there. I mean, we're not even on the chain yet, and we've started that relationship. That's with Rasta Finance. You familiar with Rasta?
A little bit, yeah. I know a couple of projects or part, yeah. So
yeah, they're a DeFi project, and so both of our projects, Centric and Rost, are going to be contributing $100,000 in our respective tokens, the liquidity pool. So we've got a pretty equitable collaboration going there. We're also looking for other types of relationships like that where we can integrate in the space. And I always say we do things very sequentially at Centric, step by step.
Yeah.
Big vision, step by step.
Okay, that's good. So Binance Smart Chain is still okay for this week, the crossover?
We believe so. The go live date we plugged last week was July 15th, which is later this week.
Yeah.
And so we just keep telling people in our community and people interested in Centric, be on the lookout for information from us. We will be rolling things out. Don't take any information from anywhere else, because there's a lot of people outside of Centric that have their own motives for accessing our community. But yeah, we'll have everybody ready to go. And for people that are holding in Centric web wallets, like I have a number of Centric web wallets. If your tokens are in the Centric web wallet, your conversion from TRC20 to BEEP20 is going to be automatic. So if you're housing your Centric tokens in the Centric web wallet, there's nothing you need to do.
That's one of the questions I was actually going to ask about.
But there are people who hold tokens in a variety of places. Some hold them on the exchanges. We don't recommend that. And then people hold them in other compatible wallets. Though there's going to be a separate tool for those people to convert to the new format. So, but for people holding in Centric web wallets, you're in good shape. You don't have to do a thing.
No, it's obviously, I've said to people many times, it's crazy to hold it on exchange because obviously not getting the rewards. But for people who are holding on exchanges, because that's where I assume the exchanges are supporting the crossover. And that you want to
right. We only, Richard, we only have 2 exchanges that are not migrating with us. So all of our current exchanges, centric.com/guide is the full list.
Yeah.
There's only 2 exchanges that are not currently migrating with us. That's Bittrex Global and Hotbit. Now, the thing is Bittrex Global and Hotbit, we may work with them in the future. Like if they work with the BSC in the future, we'll revisit that relationship. But all of the other exchanges are migrating with us.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good.
So we're in good shape there. But like I said earlier, are we going to be on other exchanges in the future? That's the plan. Yeah. That's about all I can share with that.
Obviously, you can't talk about up and coming partnerships, but
for sure.
For us to finance, but also about Moolah and GHS, ongoing partnerships you've got now.
Right. Well, Moolah is an online casino and a DApp, and we've been working with Moolah for almost 2 years now. And so there are lots of Moolah players that are really excited about all the developments on Moolah, because even Moolah has deployed new economic models. It's just getting better all the time. It's a casino that's basically owned and run by the players in a lot of ways. And there are different tokens that you can use to play on Moolah. But what is their integration with Centric? When you play, you receive your daily dividends in whatever token you've played with. But then during the process, you're actually mining Centric Rise. So the players can basically mine CNR, and they can pull it out of Moolah and tuck it away in a wallet that they control, or they can stake it inside of Moolah for long-term growth.
Wow.
But there's hundreds of slot games as well as live action and table games, and the players really enjoy it. And they're constantly making things better at Moolah. Yeah, they actually have dividends every single day. They used to have no dividend days, but they restructured their economic model, so there's dividends every day on Moolah. But Moolah, they're ready to go with us as well. We went to them. We said, hey, this is what we're doing. We'd like for you to go with us. They're going to Jumpchains as well. I'm not sure when, but they're our longest pre-existing partner. GHS or Greenhouse Staking, they have not yet deployed. They're a DeFi staking program. We went to them and they said they would wait on launching their project until we all move to BSC. And so they'll launch sometime after that. I'm planning to stake some CNR with GHS, but there's some fees associated with that. And so because there's fees to stake and unstake your CNR at GHS, that's why we asked them if they could hold off on launching, because we didn't want our users to have to pay fees to stake, and then they'd have to pay fees to unstake and then jump chains and then do it all over again. Yeah. So we asked everybody to wait at GHS, and they agreed. They said, yeah, that's fine. So we continue to collaborate with them, and sometime after we go live on the BSC, GHS will go live. We'll make sure that our community knows about it too.
That's great. No, I'll certainly check out Moolah. I bet that's really interesting.
Moolah's pretty amazing. It's amazing, and they're constantly adding new things. I heard through the grapevine that they'll be adding sports betting at some point. So that's kind of interesting. It should be fun.
That's really interesting. Also, I didn't know anything about that. That's something there. That's great. I say many people talk about the price. You've already explained that, thanks. But I have to say, probably the question that everyone kept asking, and I said, no one can see into the future. You've got plans, but no, you probably get asked all the time yourself as well.
Right. I'll touch on it like this, Richard. I don't want to avoid the question. I mean, I think we're in the 30s right now, and we've kind of been down in the 30s for a little while now. We've never gone back down to our all-time low, which is good. That's considerably lower than where we are.
Yeah.
But like I was explaining about the gentleman I talked about earlier, who's holding millions of CNS tokens versus CNR, we're still missing out when we're not holding CNR, if that's our intention. Now, for people who want to trade tokens, that's fine. We don't think Centric is a great trading token, though. We think it's a good long-term hold and then a spendable token for later on once all the networks are up.
Yeah, well, say with that yield, you can't go wrong.
But we believe that more AMAs, some of the marketing events that we've got scheduled with influencers, plus some of the developments with the CenPay or Centric Business side, some of our new partners there. I believe it's all going to impact the price positively. Very bullish about where we're going over the next few months.
Yeah, that's
very,
great.
very, very bullish.
Yeah, that's really good. A lot of people talk about how many more wallets have been created this year. That obviously gives us a sort of indication where people are going with Centric, the new wallets created. I say since I've done my video, I've had a lot of messages. People have actually now bought CNS, and then done the CNR. So how many more wallets do you know roughly this year have been created?
Well, since I came aboard, I think we added about 9,000. And I started in March. So we've added about 9,000 web wallets. And that's with very little promotion other than a few interviews by me. And Tommy and I have gotten out there and done some videos. But yeah, I think we're gonna double it again, because when I first started investing with Centric, I think we were around 10,000 web wallets. And last summer, I think we hit 15, something like that, or sometime last year. So, I mean, we've doubled from last year. We're up over 30,000, but I'd like to see us double and triple again by the end of the year. And I think we will with the right promotion.
Yeah, I'll say with what you've got.
Plus, the other side of it, Richard, is people can hold their Centric tokens places other than the Centric web wallet.
Yeah.
So there's that piece of it as well. There's people who hold Centric in hardware wallets and in other locations. So, but I think we're gonna add a lot of Centric web wallets over the course of this year. We got some things planned.
That's good. I'll certainly. Again, some people said CNS, like the vast majority on the DEX, they've got major bot problems with the trading. So does Centric plan a solution to price manipulation? But I think you've already covered that. Really, that was something a lot of people talk about. So many things out now.
Right, and we can't speak to that. I mean, there's activity in the markets, and I think at some point we're going to hit that critical mass with Centric, just like a lot of tokens do when the projects are super serious. I mean, there are a lot of projects that have good ideas, but things aren't really developed. And so we've got a lot of working parts, infrastructure, products, and things of that nature. So I think it just as we do a better job educating, I think that's going to be it's going to show up in the price.
That's one of the things I always look at is the roadmap, the plans, how they're as a team, and it obviously does stick out to me a lot because of what you've got planned, and you're always progressing. That's something I always look for. I think that's what makes you stick out from many, many other projects. That's something to be, super excited for as we go in.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. We got so many things happening that I can't even talk about yet. But just know that we'll be very noisy, shall we say, in public about things as they start dropping. Be on the lookout for a lot of developments on the business side, a lot of new technology, and a lot of new partnerships.
That's great. That's really good to hear. So you say your team's sort of based all over the world.
Correct.
one market you're concentrating on, like Asia, America, or Europe, or just a general overview of the whole world? So obviously it's going to take a lot of marketing to put it out there to the world.
Correct. Yeah, that's right, Richard. So obviously there's some markets that are more expensive than others. And we're still a startup, so we're very focused on cost and value, and we look at those things. But we have a number of countries that we're going to be dropping marketing events in the coming months. So, and actually, even this month, even in July, you're going to see some marketing events that we've collaborated on with some influencers and things of that nature.
Oh, that's good. Oh, wow, that's incredible. Yeah. Someone said, you got plans for an actual pure stable coin, but I think you've already got that, haven't you, with the CNS, CNR sort of parallel that I don't know why so many people ask that question, because there's obviously enough stable coins, but is that something you like in the future?
Right. And what makes Centric unique? I think that's a good question. Yeah. Because that was something that drew me to the project, was because the two tokens together, they have a very unique relationship. Now, there are dual token projects out there that I think are different than Centric, but I think what makes us unique is that CNS is designed to be a stable.
Yeah, yeah.
It's designed to get there, but we wanted to get there on its own. It's not like a traditional stable that's backed by dollars or precious metals or something like that, or even other cryptocurrencies. It's just backed by our network, our protocol. So it's algorithmically backed, if you will. And so as the Centric protocol does what it's supposed to do and stabilizes, it'll at some point hit that protocol consensus in the future. So like for those of us that have Centric web wallets, we go in the Centric web wallet and we look at the value indicator that's on the right.
Yeah.
And we can see, okay, this is what the value of my wallet is today in current money. And then we see what it is at the protocol. And once the protocol consensus is hit and CNS is trading at or near $1, that's pretty significant what's going to happen in our wallets, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I mean, I have that conversation with people every Wednesday on our webinars. I just say, hey, look at what's happening here. Obviously, if you need to cash out, people have a variety of ways that they use their Centric.
Yeah.
But for people that are holding, once CNS is a stable, that's going to be a significant bag, if you will, of Centric.
I have no plans to do anything with it. Just let it hold with those yields. For me, it'd be crazy to remove it. Obviously,
I think so. I think so. So, but to have like a third stable or something like that, that's not really in the cards right now. Our target is for Centric Cash or CNS, which is, I don't know if you've heard about this yet, but Centric Cash, the name is changing to Centric Swap.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The utility of the token. It's still going to be CNS, but it's going to have a new name. It'll be Centric Swap because that's kind of what it does. You're swapping it out to get Centric Rise, right?
Yeah.
So it's our utility token. But CNS is designed to stabilize at $1. And so once it is, I mean, there's not going to be a need for us to have another stable. And the thing is CNR will still have the same value that it has today because it's always going up every hour.
Yeah.
So obviously the growth that we're seeing right now, Richard, is not going to be on, sustainable forever. But during this adoption phase, as people are hearing about Centric and coming aboard, they're taking advantage of those really nice monthly gains.
It's absolutely wonderful. It's another word for it. It's absolutely fantastic. Yep. Again, thanks very much for coming on. A lot of people talk about SendPay and now you're going to develop that. Obviously, the NFTs is very exciting. But you do seem to have a lot going on with SendPay on its own and how you develop. Now, obviously, you've got a lot to achieve, haven't you, over the sort of next year with all your plans. So it'd be great if perhaps you can come on in 6 months' time and we'll sort of give another update, how you're developing, because there's a lot.
That'd be great because our team, Richard, just so you know, and your audience knows, our team is growing. So we took on about 7 people in the last 2 months, and most of them are in the SendPay department.
Okay.
So we have sales teams all over the place that are developing relationships, and we've got and then match that with our tech team that are developing some new things for SendPay. Yeah, we'll definitely have a lot to talk about.
That'd be great. I appreciate it. No, I really appreciate you coming on. It's great to get an insight because you've actually answered so many questions and sort of things been buzzing in my mind, obviously the community as well. So thanks very much for coming on. I don't want to take up too much. It's actually,
yeah, and everybody be on the lookout for our jump to the new chain. There's going to be a lot more information coming out in the coming days. And just to let your audience know, if members of your audience are not yet in the Centric community, every Wednesday we have a live storm webinar. Every Wednesday, it's at 10 a.m. Pacific. And if you connect with our team at Centric Rise on Twitter, or at Joel Clelland, that's me on Twitter, or you connect with our Centric groups in Telegram or on Discord, find out about the webinar. That's every single Wednesday. And so people, if you just want to get a little bit more of the nuts and bolts, the basics of Centric, I do it every single Wednesday. Okay. I even get into some things that we didn't talk about today, like our yield calculator and some of the other things to kind of show people what their tokens are doing over time.
Yeah, I've done that on my previous video, your yield calculator.
Oh, good. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah. But we do it in real time every Wednesday.
Oh, that's brilliant. All right, Joel, thanks very much for coming. That's an absolutely wonderful insight. Thanks very much. I really do appreciate it. We'll definitely stay in touch. I'll say it'd be great if you can come on in, I don't know, 4-6 months' time, something like that. It'd be absolutely fantastic.
Sounds great, Richard. It'd be my pleasure.
Thanks, Joel. Thanks very much. Cheers now. Thanks.
Cheers.